Hello, everyone, and welcome to Taking Over. We are back. After a week away, we are back. Sometimes shit happens and you got to cancel shows at the last minute. It is what it is. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, joined, as always, by the natural Astrid Bizarro. Astrid, how you doing this week?
Better than I was last week.
Well, it was hard to be worse than you were last week. That's for sure.
I
Why,
feel like a
Hollywood
girl.
Astrid? Why?
Because I'm clumsy, okay? It happens. I'm still not 100%, but I'm better than last week.
Well, we're here to talk about. Hello, Mr. Bobby. We are here to talk about Beyond Wrestling once again. We did America Rana this summer. It got great views. This looked like a great card. We wanted to do this show. Then we announced that we were going to do the show. And then we looked at how long the show was. So, Astrid doesn't like it if the show goes over 3 hours. Astrid has the mind of the dog in Up. Squirrel! And she's gone.
Yeah.
That's the level of Astrid's attention span. No. I will fully admit, STG, I don't have a long attention span, but it's a hell of a lot better than some other people on this show.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind it. It takes me like 3 days to watch a 4-hour show.
Yeah. This show was 5 hours long. We cut talking about the pre-show, which was available live on YouTube, which had 2 of my favorite matches on it out of this show, which, by the way, as Astrid points, you can see at the Beyond Wrestling YouTube channel. You can also catch it on the full show at independentwrestling.tv, where this entire show is for just over $10. You can get per month. You can get all kinds of wrestling. We'll deal with all that at the end. Yes, to be fair. Okay. This was too long of a show. There were too many matches. But every single match got really good time. The reason why this show took 5 hours is because they didn't cut anything from any of these matches. These matches were essentially all bangers. I would have liked to have cut 10 plus minutes from a multiple of these matches. I would have cut 10 plus minutes from some of these matches. I thought this was sensational. I thought this was a great show. This is a special show because it's a New Year's Eve show. This show started locally at 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve. The semi-main event crossed years. And the main event was the first official match in professional wrestling in the year 2026. In this time zone, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there were probably things that happened in Japan, and there were probably things that happened in Australia and other parts of the UK that might have done it beforehand. Auntie is here. Hello, Auntie.
Hello.
But I think that there was a lot to like about this show. I can tell by Astrid's notes that she enjoyed a lot of this show. I can also tell by some of Astrid's notes that she either really didn't like the first match or got so caught up in the first match that she didn't take any notes.
I knew you were going to say that. I was going to say the moment he sees the notes for her first match, he's going to be like, she hated this. I knew.
I can't tell if you hated it or loved it, but we're going to get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. We want to talk about some other good news as well. Good news is we are now officially a YouTube partner here. Not full everything, but if you're watching on YouTube, you do have the option to send super chats. If you do watch on YouTube, you have the opportunity to become a channel member. I don't know if we have that part set up yet, But we're gonna try to find some things that we can give our channel members as exclusive.
We do get the hype part though. So I know at least based on Bobby and I checked, if you watch it on mobile or on your iPad or anything like that, just not desktop. If you watch anything that is not a laptop or desktop anyway, you can do the hype points on the video. You can do up to 3 hypes per week. So you have to wait, I think, at least 3 days or so. So not tonight, but at least 3 days from now, you can go check on the video and hype it up later. That helps us out too.
Yes, we greatly appreciate it. We got Prairie Pro Wrestling in here. Auntie's very excited that we've hit our first milestone. Like I said, we've got more to go, but we appreciate everybody getting us over at those watch hours. We now have our next goal of 4,000 watch hours. We have our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. That will get us to our full YouTube partnership in full, where that's where we get ad money and ad revenue and all that kind of fun stuff. But we want to thank you all for getting us to this part, because there were days that the 4 of us would be in those chats going, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah, watching everything in the background while I was working just to help out. So.
Yeah, my computer ran for a good month nonstop, with the exception of occasional shutdowns. But we are here to talk about Beyond Wrestling. We are here to talk about Heavy Lies the Crown. And this was a show. Let's start with our opening match. Fancy Ryan Clancy, who had just lost his IWTV championship to Bear Bronson in a triple threat match. It was Bear Bronson, Marcus Mathers, and Fancy Ryan Clancy. Ryan Clancy is very, very mad and angry because he was not pinned, nor was he submitted to lose his championship. He is a very angry boy. And he took on the wife of the man who took the title from him, Gabby Forza. Astrid, I'm going to read your notes word for word for the people.
No.
Ryan in control. Drop kick. Ryan wins. Now, you think, oh, this match was 5-10 minutes. No, this match was, I felt like damn near 20 minutes. She's got 3 lines of notes.
Okay, so I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. Because I liked the match. Yeah, I liked the match. And I was just more concentrated watching it. I just, in my mind, and this is me, like, in a way, like, I blame myself in a way, because I was kind of fantasy booking, and we kind of fantasy booked this show before we were watching it.
We did.
So, in my mind, I thought, well, how amazing would it be to have a husband versus wife for the title happening sometime later? Yeah. So in my mind, I just like, oh, this would be great for Gabby to win it. Like, I cannot wait to see that happen. And then her, like, at the end helping Bear win, but also like being like, oh, I'm your next in line against you. And I was like, I just imagined the ending that way. So that's why I say I didn't hate it, because I enjoyed the match, but I hated the result, because I would have rehearsed it with the storyline right there in front of your faces. I think the storyline would have been so interesting to have a husband and wife go against each other for a championship. I'm like, it was right there, pretty picture and everything. So I was more disappointed in the result than the match itself. But I enjoyed the match. I think I was mostly surprised that for somebody like Gabby, who is such a like force and such a powerhouse, I was hoping that she would be able to put some more offense in than what she did. That's the only thing. I feel like Ryan did more than what she did. Like, if you think about it, going against each other, like, he did more, and he did most of the match, if that makes sense. So that was more like my mindset going into it. So I was just disappointed that she lost.
I loved this match because the first thing we get is Ryan Clancy doing this just drop kick to Gabby. Like, he just goes from the word go, he's off and running. And he is just... I love the aggressive side of Ryan Clancy here. This is something we've yet to see in a lot of these matches with Ryan Clancy, is something like this, because he is the fancy man. He's a bit of everything. He has power, he has speed, he has technical ability. He can do it all, and he normally shows it all. And to have this kind of angry, brute force type of match that he had in this match was a sensational thing to see from him. This new Ryan Clancy that we've seen on social media, that we've seen in this match, that we'll hear later tonight in the main event, I kind of loved all of it. It gave a character that feels like it's just a character, like a caricature of a character. It gave it depth. It gave it substance. It gave him a feeling in a way that I hadn't seen before. And I watch a fair amount of Ryan Clancy matches. This is somebody I'm relatively familiar with because since finding him via Beyond Wrestling, Wrestling Open, I loved his title reign as the IWTV champion. He had some banger matches in there. His match with Marcus Mathers, where he won the title, is one of my favorite matches of 2025. Like, it's sensational. I loved this match with Gabby because it showed Gabby in a different light. It showed him in a different light. And I loved seeing Gabby on the back foot. Something I've never been able to see with Gabby is her being on the back foot, her being an underdog. There's no way in a women's division, with the exception of a Megan Bayne, to make Gabby Forza not the physical threat. To make her the underdog is almost impossible. But to put her in here with Ryan Clancy in this mood on this night, it made her the underdog. She had a tough night at the office. She got her ass beat. And you know what? She looked like a fucking star going through it. Like, you say she didn't get a lot. No, she didn't get a lot. And it was something new and interesting and different for Gabby Forza. And we've talked a lot of Gabby Forza on this show. She's one of our favorites. She's on our list of, top 10 people to interview in 2026. She's at the top of one of my lists on that one, at least. But I thought this was sensational. I loved every bit of this match. I've watched it 3 times. I haven't watched this whole show 3 times, but I've watched various pieces of it more than once. And this is one of the matches I continue to go back and watch. Ryan's drop kick to win this match is Randy Orton Okada levels drop kick. And just so we're clear about how I feel about drop kicks, those are the 2 greatest drop kicks in professional wrestling, bar none. There's nobody even close to Okada and Orton because they get up to a level that nobody gets to. Or they used to. I don't know if Okada still gets there. I mean, he's basically say words, bitch on TV. That's basically what Okada does now, from what I understand. So, but yeah, Ryan Clancy's dropkick here, chef's kiss, fantastic, great way to put her down, great way to end this match. Love it all. Ryan wins. He is the number 1 contender again for the IWTV Championship. Spoiler alert. I won't spoil who he faces, but I will tell you he wins the match but doesn't win the championship. He is not the champion as of right now. We'll talk more about. I'm going to spoil a lot of these because they set up a lot of matches for the next night because they had a wrestling open the next day on a Thursday. And the number 1 contender matches that they set up in this show all took place on that next show. So I will be giving the results to those matches as well from the Wrestling Open. I'd love to introduce Ed to Noah rookies who are hitting picture. Hey, we're gonna get there. I'm gonna watch some of these Noah shows at some point. I guarantee it. I don't know when, but also hello, Mel. Good evening. Since Mel is here, I know he's not on this show, but Mel's here, so we'll just put Dakota Kai's boyfriend on the picture up there and let it see what happens. Anyways, we'll move on to what would be Bobby's probably. I think Bobby would both love and hate one of these tag teams. I know he would. We have Miracle Generation of Dustin Waller and Kylon King. Again, people we're talking an awful lot about when it comes to tag team wrestling on this broadcast. Taking on Shot Through the Heart, Love Doug and TJ Crawford. And I just want to say, I've never seen this version of Love Doug and TJ Crawford's entrance. I love it. It's fucking fantastic. I absolutely adore it. They come out to literally Shot Through the Heart. I believe that's Bon Jovi. I don't know my music all that great. I think it's Bon Jovi.
Yes.
And then as they're getting to the chorus, the Silver Sniper shoots Love Doug with a fake gun. I love it all. I love the presentation. I love all about this. Ah, yes, Bobby. I mentioned Love Doug. He goes, yeah.
Oh, no.
I want to say something about this show here as well. There are 3 straight-up tag team matches. And no, I don't count the semi-main event of the 8-person tag. There are 3 straight-up tag team matches on this show. They are by far and away the best 3 matches on this entire card. With the exception of one. We'll get to my favorite match, and it's not one of the 3 tag team matches. But we will get to my favorite match. But these 3 tag matches are absolutely sensational. Every single one of them went way too long. Every single one of them had way too much in it. Every single one of them felt like everybody was just like, let's just go as hard and as long as we can. And when we all get tired, we'll just end the match. But I love them all so much. Miracle Generation has I came into 2025 not knowing who Miracle Generation was. I didn't know Kylon King and Dustin Waller. I had heard of Dustin Waller, but I'd never seen him work coming into this year. They are one of my favorite tag teams in the world right now. The fact that they can work babyface and heels so effortlessly, depending where they are and what they're doing. And you can tell if they're babyface or heel because if Dustin Waller comes out with the do-rag on, they're working heel. Like, they're not always working heel if he's not wearing it. Like, they might work heel without it. But you know if he's wearing the do-rag, they're working heel. There's a lot of really fun and interesting stuff in this match. There's a bit of comedy without being comedy. Like the Love Doug stuff in this works so perfectly into the match because Dustin plays so well into the comedy, being such a serious, like, dirtbag. And he was a dirtbag in this match, and it was so fun to watch. He's like, at one point, like, he's like, I hate you, Doug. I hate you. And then Doug catches his kick. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. I love you. I love you. It's okay, Doug. I love you. He's trying to get Doug to put his foot down. Like, there's such great stuff in here. The double submission where Miracle Generation gets out of it when they're both in the camel clutches. I thought that was really great. The counter that Love Doug does when like they're setting up a Doomsday Tower and then like they like get out of it and they do like separate moves and then Love Doug reverses it being on the top rope. That was sensational. That fucking destroyer was unreal. And that's an overused move now, especially in the indie scene. It's especially on TV too. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. When it was Petey Williams' move and essentially he was the only one doing it, it was great. It kind of lost all its luster when we saw Bad Bunny do it on a pay-per-view. That was the moment that the destroyer ended. Well, no, because it took all the mystique out of it. But anyways, we'll get on to that. I loved everything about this match. Miracle Generation gets the win. They are in the #1 contenders match for the vacant IWTV Tag Team Championships, which we should talk about that here. Best recovery, I believe it's Jaden Newman, who was injured from 48-25. We've talked about them when we talk about our Action Wrestling shows. They're regulars over there at Action Wrestling. They were the IWTV Tag Team Champions. Jaden Newman has had a pretty serious injury. He's on the road to recovery. He should be back and hopefully in a few months. But with that being said, they had to go ahead and crown new champions. So they had a little bit of a mini tournament with Shot Through the Heart, Miracle Generation, Bangin' Matthews, and Starstruck. And we'll get to that other match later on in the night. Astrid, I've talked about this match long enough. What did you think of this tag team match?
No, it was very fun. And as the gray mail Bob would describe, it was glorious chaos because it was hard to keep up with everything that was happening. Same thing with like the semi-main event was very similar for me in that aspect. But it's the kind of glorious chaos that I enjoy because even though I try to keep up with the notes, there were points I just kept playing it and not even taking notes as I was enjoying while I was watching. I couldn't even keep up with them to begin with. But the part that really stood out to me the most was a lot of the back and forth that they had between Kylon and Doug. I feel like they had a lot of back and forth in some aspects, and I believe it was Kylon that was very smooth with his transitioning from one submission to another one, which is very smoothly done. It was I had to go back and watch it because I was like, oh, I love how he did that. I was like, I need to go to remember that later on. So those were the parts that really stood out to me. But again, it's like both teams had great chemistry to begin with, and it was just a fun match overall. I feel like after while we were watching the first one, it was a great way to like pick up the energy. So I'm like, if anything, this would have been also a great opener for me, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, I think it was interesting the order of matches that we had throughout the night. I think they did a really good job of trying to give us some ups and some downs in the show as best they can with a bit of a mega show like this. But we have Miracle Generation winning the match, moving on to the finals. They'll be in the finals the next night. Oh boy! And then there's Angel Ortiz taking on Cody Coco Lane. We've talked about Cody Coco Lane. We like Cody Coco Lane on this show. We covered Dreamwave. We adore Dreamwave. However, this is where we have to have a serious conversation. All right. So, on commentary for the night, I don't know the name of the other person on commentary, but I do know that Denver, Colorado is on commentary. Denver, Colorado, for those that don't know, don't watch this product all the time, is Drew Cordero, who is the runner, the promoter of Beyond Wrestling. He's one of the figureheads of this promotion. He does a fantastic job producing wrestling shows. This was, by the way, show 100 that he promoted for the year. Between Beyond Wrestling Super Shows and the weekly shows for Wrestling Open and Wrestling Open Rhode Island, he did 100 shows in a calendar year, which is fucking impressive. Most independent wrestling companies can get maybe 12 shows on a year. That's one a month. And as Bobby will attest, even putting on one a month is a pretty impressive feat. Mm-hmm. To put on 100 shows over the course of a calendar year is absolutely sensational. However, he had some comments during Cody's entrance to this that irked me to no end, and it sparks a discussion that I wanted to have on stream with Astrid. So Cody Coco Lane is coming. This is his first time that I know of in the New England area. It is absolutely his first time working at Beyond. And Denver, Colorado says, and I quote, he could sink or swim, or he might go back to being a big fish in a small pond. He takes a speech, and his very next line is all these guys talking about how they've got the best region. Bullshit. Ain't nobody topping New England. Now, as a New Englander, I can also attest that I think we have a sensational independent wrestling promotions going on here. We cover an awful lot of New England independent professional wrestling. One, because I see and the tweets a lot because it's the stuff that's local to me. But we have a hard time finding really great, high-level, high-quality independent wrestling promotions from around the country. There's a reason why we do a lot of shows in New England, because these shows are all high-tier, high-quality. WrestlePro, Create-A-Pro, Beyond, Chaotic, the Wrestling Open, which are part of the Beyond thing, Focus Pro. We've covered an awful lot of New England professional wrestling, and I'm adding New York and New Jersey into that because it's that Northeast New England kind of scene. However, We love going to Illinois and covering Dreamwave. Astrid, when you listened to this line on commentary after I pointed it out to you, did you notice that this might have been a bit of a faux pas on Drew's part here? What do you think?
I wasn't even. I was more paying attention to Kody and his answers, particularly being it was his first time in Beyond. So I wanted to see what the reaction was for him. That I wasn't even paying attention to what he was saying. So when you pointed out, I went, "Oh, okay, geez." I'm like, I understand being confident, but that just felt like I don't want to say extra, but it felt a little more than too much of confidence. If that makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't. I understand where he's coming from, wanting to put the company over, but I don't think that's the way to do it, though.
I think it's so interesting in a landscape where we don't. Territory wrestling is something that Astrid's not entirely familiar with. And I say that because the territory wrestling system was long gone when you started watching wrestling, and WWE was really the only thing in town at that point. You know, TNA is here and whatnot, but TNA is TNA. There's something special about the old territory days where everybody had their own territory and did their thing. I like the confidence, but I dislike the beginning way more than I have an issue with the back end. Him calling out the rest of the regions and being like, nobody does it like we do it here, I think is a lot less offensive than if he loses here and doesn't do well, he goes back to being a big fish in a small pond. I have more of an issue with that than I have an issue with anything else. Because I think Dreamwave is a big pond. The Dreamwave shows that we've covered, a majority of the talent on those shows are talent that Drew uses at Beyond Wrestling. Their world champion is Channing Thomas, who's on this show and works this region constantly. Donovan Dijak is a relatively big star in Dreamwave. He's on this show. He's a big part of the New England wrestling scene. Anthony Greene. We've seen Bobby Orlando down there. He's the Wrestling Open champion. Like, Dreamwave isn't a small promotion. It's a Midwest promotion, and take that for what it's worth. But at the end of the day, that part irked me a lot more than being like, New England's the best region for pro wrestling. Fuck you all. Like, that's a whole lot more. I get that. That's a wrestling promoter being a wrestling promoter. It just came off a little condescending to be like a big fish in a small pond. And it really turned me off on this match because it made me root for Kody Lane against not only Angel Ortiz, but against the entire company. Like, I wanted Kody to have like the best match just to be like, fuck you to the guy who helped figure out who's going to win and who's going to lose out of this. It felt weird. And by the way, I've heard Drew on commentary before. And by the way, his entire night on commentary here, he's actually really good on commentary. He's sensational. The entire night commentary here is pretty good, with the exception of the main event. And we'll get to the main event and why that commentary sucked. We'll get there when we get there. But I thought commentary the entire night did a really fun and interesting job of keeping me into a lot of these matches. They didn't get in the way. They didn't do a lot of other stuff. Also, can we have this version of Ortiz everywhere? Because the smooth operator, like funky monkey Angel Ortiz is way better than any other version of Angel Ortiz out there.
Yes. This is the most personality I've seen out of him. The most. And I've seen him since TNA.
Yeah.
This is the most, and this is also the most fun I've seen him while he's wrestling too. I've never seen him having this much fun before. And I was like, I don't know what he was on, or what he was doing beforehand, or what he did particularly for this card. But I was like, whatever you did, Ortiz, keep doing it, because he really stood out to me in that sense. So because like I said, I haven't seen him wrestle in a while, just because he hasn't been in AEW like that. I also haven't seen him taking like indie bookings that I recall, at least on my social media. So This was the first time in a long, long time that I watched him wrestle, and yeah, for me it was more like he was having so much fun with Kody overall, like character wise, and like I said, the most personality I've seen him do with all the dancing he was doing and the back and forth and playing around with the crowd too. And I was like, it just I love the energy he was bringing. I was like, I if you can keep that going, keep it going, please. Um, but it just made this match a lot more fun than I expected it to be because I thought it was gonna be more serious at first when they first started. So it took me on a different route than I expected it to be at first. But again, he had a lot of chemistry with Kody, and I like how even when we have Ortiz win, and you see still moments that Kody did very well. He really stood out in this match as well, and that's how it should be too. That we're both having fun.
Yeah, I thought the match itself is sensational. I think Kody does a really good job here. I think Angel Ortiz is the perfect guy to work with him. This is my favorite Kody Laynie match so far that we've seen. This Angel Ortiz was so surprising because he's, no offense to old LAX, no offense to Pride and Powerful in TNA, and no offense to Mike Santana, but Ortiz is the boring one in the group. Like, in everything they've always done, Ortiz is always the boring one. Santana has the chemistry. Santana has the charisma. Santana has the look. Like, Santana had kind of everything. And I'm sorry, this Angel Ortiz could be world champion. This Angel Ortiz should be TNT champion. This Angel Ortiz should not be tag teaming with Eddie Kingston on AEW television. I love this Angel Ortiz. This Angel Ortiz was sensational. God, the chop off that they had was sensational. The way they worked in and out of wrestling moves and played to the crowd. They played to the crowd more than any match on this entire card. Like, the crowd was an active part of this match. And by the way, this crowd was drunk from the word go and surly as fuck all night long. Like, they were. I was proud of my New England brethren in this show because we did not hold our feelings back in any way, shape, or form, especially in the main event. And I keep saying that because when you hear what the main event is, you're going to be like, why are these two covering it? We'll get there. I promise. Angel Ortiz does get the win. This match could have been better had I not been taken down by the commentary at the beginning. The shot at Dreamwave, the shot at the Midwest wrestling scene kind of made it feel like Kody wasn't worthy. And Angel Ortiz is, as you know, Denver, Colorado, Drew Cordero says, he's a beyond original. Like, he's a guy who's been here, done that since the word go. Like, he's been around forever with this company, ups, downs, lefts, rights, everything. And it's like, why would you ever want to make the opponent of a guy who's been there, done that for you like that feel less than? And that's what it hurt, because I enjoy the work of Kody Laynie. I think, you know, the Southern Flamingo, I think, is a really interesting cat. I like what he does. I like how he... And by the way, the Kody Laynie we got here is essentially the same Kody Laynie we get in Dreamwave. He didn't change the appearance. He didn't change the music. He didn't change the way he works. Everything was about the same. The only thing I'd say is I think we got a little bit more charisma out of him here than we normally get in Dreamwave. He was a bit more, again, like Angel Ortiz, he worked the crowd a bit more, and it got the crowd into disliking him. Like, at one point, he had a rest hold on, and he took Ortiz's hands, and he clapped Ortiz's hands together to get the crowd to boo him. I was really upset with Drew's comments about Kody going into this, and it made me feel less than about the match. And watching the match a second time without the commentary and just watching the match, it was that much better. It was that much cooler. And again, Angel Ortiz, please bring this to AEW because you'll be a star with this. Why you've been doing anything else for 20 years is beyond me. By the way, hi, Blair. Thank you for joining us. Blair's he just had a fantastic interview go out last week. He's got another fantastic interview coming out this week on Thursday. So make sure you go ahead and get that a look. I believe it is Naomi King this week, if I remember the promotional tweet correctly. Blair, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, they're fantastic. We've had Blair on a different version of this show before. I know Bobby just covered on Ring Respect Radio, just covered Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, which is the promotion that Blair is, I believe, affiliated with, if I'm not mistaken. I know he does a lot of work with them, as he mentioned when he was on our show before. For the NXT predictions for Heatwave? Might have been Heatwave? Something. It was something over the summer.
It's been too long.
It's been about a year. We got to get Blair back on here. But yes, Cody Lane is solid. He's wrestling up here next week. Well, that's good. I hope you guys enjoy him. We love him down here. We really enjoyed a fantastic wrestler out of the PNW. Okay, that's Naomi King. Thanks. And he does do the commentary. I was correct. He does do the commentary, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. So make sure you go check them out. And again, like I said, Bobby's got the review up with Papa Smokes from their latest show that just happened right before the new year. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Moving on, we have our second of our 3 banger tag team matches. And of course, Ash was happy about this because she got to hear her favorite song in professional wrestling. No, not that shitty Kit Wilson song. She got to hear the Marcus Mathers song. Aaron Rourke and Marcus Mathers taking on the Shooter Boys. Astrid, we talked about the Shooter Boys on the women's showcase of Wrestling Open with that new version of the Shooter Boys. They're now 3 matches deep with Starstruck. They lost the third and final no time limit match with Starstruck that went about 30 minutes. But they're starting to get that vibe back. They're starting to get that Shooter Boy feel back. What did you think of this match here between Aaron Rourke and Marcus Mathers and the Shooter Boys?
To clarify, the song is All I Want by I Didn't Remember, if anybody knows it, just in case. That's the one I enjoy from Marcus every time he comes out.
It's the Marcus Mathers song.
No, it's a Didn't Remember song. It's a Didn't Remember before it became a Marcus song. So,
and by the way, I will again reiterate my hot take that Kit Wilson song is not as good as everybody's making it out to be. It's not. It's not that great. It's better than most. No, Kit Wilson is fantastic. The song is mid. Just so we're clear.
I'm sure you're singing it in your mind as you're saying that.
No, the song is awful. I can't get it out of my fucking head.
Exactly.
But it's not good. Just because it gets stuck doesn't mean it's good. The fucking Lamb Chop song gets stuck in my head too, but that doesn't make it good. But that doesn't make it good.
Still.
No.
It's memorable.
No, it's awful. I hate it. Anyways, talk about
just because it's stuck in your head doesn't mean it's bad, okay?
Talk about Marcus Mathers.
No. We're gonna die on this hill. It's a good song. Yeah, I see anybody on TikTok doing their dances to it now. Oh no, not that one. I cannot hear it now. Okay. I can't even concentrate on this now. I had the song in my head now. Blame you. No, this was a pretty good match. That's another one that I really enjoyed too. I am enjoying the tag of Aaron and Marcus together here. The more and more I see it, it's just one that when I first saw them together, I was like, how do they mesh together? Like they don't. It doesn't seem like they will go together, but they actually do, and pretty well, like more than you think they do. Which is it's one that every time I see them, it's like it doesn't feel that way, but they do actually. They have such a great chemistry as tag team partners. I just love how this is one of those matches that even Aaron has his moments that he just makes it funny somehow as well. So I just when I see him, I think of Love Dog at the beginning, a little bit like that too. It's like the match is not to be taken seriously either. I do love also, to me, both teams communicate so well with the timing of everything. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect because we're not perfect, but oh my God, it's so good. It just reminds me so much of the Machine Guns because it just feels like this unspoken bond is what I call it. because you don't even know how they communicate with each other, but it just happens. And if you like don't look at it, they might miss something if they lose it by 1 second. And it's like it was one of those things like it's incredible to watch it. I don't remember if it was this one though. Yeah, when Aaron did the Molly go route, I went chef's kiss. I love watching that too. Like nobody does that now. But yeah, I guess if overall pretty fun match. I'm trying to see if it was this one. Though. There was one match. Oh no, it was the other one that they had a full thing with the timing too, which made me think more about this match later on and comparing it in my mind compared to one that we'll talk about in a little bit here. But again, it's like this was really well done. But Vecchio is one that really surprised me here. He did a Styles Clash at one point that was pretty like beautiful to watch too, and I was like, "Oh, I see you, Chef's kiss." I'm like, that was great. But yeah, I love the back and forth they have with each other here. I feel like it was really well balanced of like showing off both teams overall. But yeah, this was for me one of the fun matches of the night.
Aaron Rourke and Marcus Mathers are WWE ID'd. They are an evolved tag team. They are taking this show on the road. Well, they were until Marcus Mathers has just now decided to do a run with Dragon Gate for the next little bit. So he's had his last match in the States, and now he's off to run with Dragon Gate for a little while. So the team will break up briefly while they do that. I love the two of them together. No, they don't belong together. They are an odd couple, but they work so well. Marcus Mathers breaking out the face paint for this one like Aaron Rourke does, I thought was a really sensational. Aaron Ortiz and Anthony Vecchio. I talked about how Miracle Generation are one of my favorite tag teams in the world. These two are my favorite tag team right now. There is no better tag team in the world right now than the Shooter Boys. These two young bucks are on another level when it comes to tag team wrestling right now. I've seen they're so fucking young, like stupid young are these two kids. Like they're just children, and they're so good. And the reason why I think the chemistry in this match was as off the charts as it is that there are 3 Creative Pro trained professional wrestlers in this match, with Aaron Ortiz, Anthony Vecchio, and Aaron Rourke all being trained at the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy. So they're very familiar with each other with that. Marcus Mathers is a staple on the independent scene. He's worked everywhere and everybody. So there's no reason why he can't be. But like you said, the timing on some of these things was minuscule. Chances for things to go awry. And every single time they made it work. There's a point where the crowd wants Ortiz and Aaron Rourke to kiss because it's New Year's Eve, and it's just so good. The Aaron Rourke character is sensational. He does the comedy stuff so well while also being one of the better pro wrestlers that you've seen on the. He does the things that people. He does the things I wish Orange Cassidy would do, because I think he's a better pro wrestler and a better gimmick than Orange Cassidy. And I think if given the opportunity by WWE, I think he could be more over than Orange Cassidy was. I think he's that damn good. I think Aaron Rourke is one of the best indie wrestlers on the rounds today. And I'm hoping that he'll be officially WWE and not just WWE ID'd in the near future. I know we got a bunch of WWE ID'd people seemingly signed to full-term contracts now. So we'll see how that goes in the near future with some of those people. God, this match was really good. It's my favorite of the 3 tag matches, and it's my favorite of the 3 tag matches by like this much. Because the next tag match that we talk about is almost as good as this. Almost as good as this. This match went 10 minutes too long. This match felt like it went forever. It's my only knock on this entire match is that this match felt like it went forever. But Aaron and Marcus get the win after the 450 and the Sparkle Splash. I love the double high flying combination moves by the two of them. But Jesus Christ, how good are the Shooter Boys? And before the show, I was listening to a part of the interview with CBV's doing with The Miz. And he was talking about Javon Evans. And I want to take what he was talking about with Javon Evans and put it on the Shooter Boys. And he said, Javon Evans is one of the best pro wrestlers that he's seen as he is now. And he's 21 years old. He's like, I can't imagine how good he's going to be when he turns 25. He goes, he may not be in the business when he gets to 25 because he might get bored of being as good as he is. This is The Miz. Like, I know we like to clown on The Miz. The Miz is a nobody. The Miz's title reigns are awful. The Miz is an awful wrestler. The Daniel Bryan Miz stuff. The Miz is one of the greatest WWE superstars. And I'm using this specific lingo there. He's one of the best WWE superstars to ever live. He's not one of the greatest professional wrestlers to ever live. But his work with WWE and his run there is on a level that nobody ever is on. He does things and is a person that's rivaled by only John Cena and now Cody Rhodes. And I would take everything that he said about Javon Evans and put it on the Shooter Boys. They're this young and they're this good. Imagine how good they're going to be in 2 years. Imagine how good they're going to be in 4 years. In 10 years, they could be running a tag team division on Monday nights, on Wednesday nights, on Friday nights. And if they're running a tag team division on Thursday nights, in 10 years, something's gone terribly wrong.
Now, I was going to say, and to add about The Miz, too, I am the kind of person that I know the great LRJ will kind of support me on this a little bit, too. Even though she didn't watch The Miz, but I grew up watching The Challenge, and The Miz was around the time I started watching is when he was leaving, so I didn't get to watch him as much as I wanted to. But I go from watching him and being there and him saying he's going to be a WWE superstar and people laughing at him for having that dream to where he is now. Because one of the things that, even though he's not one of the best in the world, he's not on the top, anybody's like usual, like top 5 of wrestlers. But one thing is he's very consistent. He's reliable. And that's one thing that the company looks for with him. And just like, even though and like he has his moments that he's serious, he has a moment that he does comedy. So it's like he does a lot of things for the company that a lot of people don't usually do. And he's the kind of person that will make himself look like an idiot to entertain us. So one thing I will give them is like he's a great entertainer. I will give him that. And not a lot of people are that, and there's a big difference too. I'm surprised we haven't seen much from him, but
it's a consistent classic. I will agree. The Old Yeller is a consistent classic. Do you have anything left on the tag team match here, or are we going to move on?
No.
We're going to move on to our first ladies match, our only ladies versus ladies match on the. Now, to be fair, they did have Gabby Forza in the opening match. They do have this match here, but they could have added a couple more ladies on this card, but. This is a good. If you're going to have one women's match, having the WWE ID Women's Champion Laynie Luck taking on Liviyah, who apparently was supposed to be in that match, but unfortunately was injured and was unable to compete in that match. This is good. But, I mean, that's all I'm going to say about this because I want to hear what Astrid says, because Astrid is indeed the women's wrestling expert here at our local establishment. So, Astrid, what you got?
How do I describe this? It wasn't bad, but it's one of those that I feel like Laynie did a lot really for Liviyah in this match, if that makes sense. I feel like she did what she could to really show her off. I do like the fact that Laynie had that strategy of going for like quick pins as she could to end this match as quick as she could, if anything. I feel like, not that I needed more time, but I wish she would have done a little bit more out of Liv because I wanted to see more out of her, if that makes sense. I feel like Laynie did what she could to show her off, but I feel like Liv should have done a little bit more of her, and if that makes sense. And that's the only part that I'm like, I want to see more from her. I have barely seen her wrestle, so this was one of the matches I thought, oh, it's a one-on-one match. It should get, it's should be enough time for her to like do something here, and I really didn't see much from her. I think she did at one point like a shoulder tackle to Laynie that was, I don't want to say nasty, but it looked really bad in a way when the way she sold it. So that was pretty well done. But again, it's no surprise here that Laynie wins. I don't see Laynie losing that title yet anytime soon. She's had a couple of this was another one of her defenses. She defended against Ivelisse at Shine, and I forgot what the other.
Yeah,
that was the other one, but that was WWE show that was here. It wasn't in Orlando, but it's close to Orlando.
Lakeland.
That was Longwood, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
So it's around the area, but it's not Orlando. So yeah, I feel like either way, just one of those matches. Like I wanted to see more from Liv, and we didn't, and that's the only thing that felt off about this match in a way for me.
I've seen. I'm trying to put this in the same way that you are. I'm trying to find some of the right words. I like Liviyah. I think she's got an interesting look. I think she's got an interesting character. I like what she does in Chaotic a lot more than I like anything she does anywhere else. The best Liviyah is Liviyah working with, around, and near DJ Powers. DJ, her boyfriend, brings a special something out of her. And he's on this card. He's in the pre-show that we don't get to talk about. But Liviyah is really good and really does everything she needs to do, but she's not memorable. At the end of the day, I don't come out of watching a Liviyah match and go, that was a really memorable match. I'm going to remember this. Shayna Levangie is memorable. Paris Vendale is memorable. Laynie Luck is to an extent. Nixie XS, Ericademia, Gabby Forza, Becca, Brittany Brooks. Like, you're starting to get the hint here. Like, these are all women who, when I think of them, I can think of a match. I can think of a move. I can think of a spot. I can think of something that's memorable about what they are. Even Laynie Luck, who I don't remember spots in matches, but I can remember the two-turn unicorn. I can remember the fact that I don't understand anything about the gimmick that she does. But there's something memorable about her. The most memorable thing about Liviyah is that she's DJ's girlfriend. She's really good. She's a second-generation wrestler. She's young. She's got a lot to be able to be good. And like I said, she's got a great foundation. She doesn't have bad matches. She just doesn't have memorable matches as far as I can tell. And if there's anything worse than having a bad match, it's having a match that's not memorable. This match is fine, but I've watched it twice and I don't remember anything from it. Like, I'm looking at Astrid's notes. I don't remember the Fisherman Suplex. I don't remember the standing STO. Like, I don't remember any of this. And again, it's a 4-hour show. And by the way, I watched this show today to reacclimate myself because of the fact that, again, I watched it, twice a week ago getting ready for this show. I watched it today to reacclimate myself to the show. I don't remember anything about this match. It's sad, but it's just what it was. I think there are big things for Liviyah in her future, but it's not a future that's here and now like the Shooter Boys. It's not a future that's here and now like Blackjack, who we'll get to talk about in a little bit. It's not here and now like Ericademia, Nixie XS, some of these other people. It's not a here and now future. It's an in the future. And that's a shame because I like her. I like the character. I like the gimmick. I like the things she does. But memorable. You got to be memorable.
She has to make herself stand out a little bit more because even with her look, It's not something that I could point out from afar and say, "Oh, that's Liviyah." I can't do that. Versus like there's other people that you can see based on their gears. You're like, "Oh, I know this is so and so," and it's like with her, it seems very simple. So it's like it doesn't come off like something like that. I understand they gave her the match like you said because she was injured, and it looks like that was mainly the reason why. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have had this match happen to begin with.
I mean, I like the idea of having a young superstar because remember, Liviyah also, going back to Beyond Wrestling shows that we've covered in the past, Liviyah was the person who was face to face with Chris Statlander at the Americana show, the show that had no heat, and Chris Statlander got no reaction out of it, and it was basically Liviyah's like pick your poison dream match kind of thing. And that's the AEW now, AEW Women's Champion Chris Statlander. Like, it's just, it's a shame because, like I said, I like Liviyah. I think there's a lot of good stuff going on with that. But at the end of the day, this is the only match that I didn't remember was on the card after watching the show twice and then watching it back today. And I go, oh, that match was on this show? Moving on, and again, I hate to do this, but moving on to something that is memorable. The second semifinal match for the IW Tag Team Championship opportunities, Bang & Matthews taking on Starstruck. Here are 4 guys that you'll never forget after watching them. I did like playing off the whole August thing because we had August Gray in NXT, which was Anthony Greene, and we have August Matthews here. I thought that was kind of fun. God, this match is fantastic. It is my second favorite match in the entire. It's my third favorite match in the entire card. It's my second favorite tag team match. And like I said, it just barely didn't beat out the Shooter Boys versus Mathers and Rourke. God, Bang & Matthews just keep going up that chart more and more and more every time I watch them. They are so much fun to watch. They are so interesting. This is their first time working in New England. And again, here's another Dreamwave tag team. But mind you, we had no mention of Small Fish, Big Pond. We had no mention of making a name for themselves in this one, which I think was interesting. I thought that was an interesting thing to point out because it's another team that's in Dreamwave. It's up until Dreamwave's last show, they were the reigning Dreamwave tag team champions. Like Cody Lane is a reigning champion in Dreamwave in singles action. God, Starstruck are just so fucking good, though. Like, Channing Thomas and Anthony Greene are just standard bearers for, we're going to go out there and we're going to make everybody look good. And you don't need much to make Bang & Matthews look good. But, God, this was sensational. I've never seen somebody catch somebody into a pile driver. That's a new one for me. I've been watching wrestling for the better part of 30 years, and I've never seen somebody get caught into a pile driver. Yeah. That spinning spear 450 finish that Bang & Matthews have is so fun to watch. I don't know if it's good, but I know I have fun every time I see it. Like, it's convoluted as fuck to get to because you get both guys in the corner and you do the roll into the spear, and then the guy who does the roll gets back up to the top and does the 450. Like, it's a convoluted finish, but it looks great. What did you think of this tag team match here?
Yeah, this was another one that was very fun with the timing of it too. I say that because there was a one point that Anthony uses August that's bouncing up the ropes to catch Davey as he's falling off, and I think he does some kind of cutter to him or something like that. But the timing of it, the way that he does from one person to the one, it was so well done. I was like, I wouldn't have been able to time that so well to be able to throw one person as he's catching the other one almost at the same time. It was so beautifully done. I loved it. But yeah, it's like I love every time we see Starstruck, and to me, this is gonna sound kind of funny, but every time I see Starstruck, I almost like forget that this is the Channing that we see when he's a singles competitor because it doesn't feel like the same person. They feel like totally different people. So where he's teaming here with Anthony, it just it's a different kind of energy. I can't even describe it. And it's like when I see him as a singles competitor, I keep forgetting that he also teams with Anthony Greene every now and then, because when he's by himself, he doesn't feel like the same person. And I had to remind myself, I was like, oh, this is the same guy that teams up with Anthony later. And I never realized that when he's doing like the Dreamwave matches, for example. So that's another thing. It's like, it feels such a different vibe from one promotion to another one, that I had to remind myself this is the same person that did a tag team match over here, because it's not over here in this company. So it's always interesting watching that. Again, it's like you said, we have those moments that Starstruck is doing what, they have experience of doing what they can here to make back and Matthews look good, and they actually do in the end with the win here. But again, it's like this is another one that was almost like a glorious chaos type of match as well, with like everything, the timing, how fun it is, and how quick everything is. But again, it's one of those that I just sit back and enjoy the match, and that's why I didn't take a lot of notes. I was enjoying everything with the vibes. But that's why I liked the most about these two tag team matches on this card. I love the pacing of them, because I can just sit back and watch, and I was like, and all I see is just people bouncing back and forth, because that's what it feels like when you're watching the whole thing, because it's hard to keep up with all of them. But they did such a great job with the timing. Just makes me think back of if it was me, I would have missed the spot, and that would have made the whole match go downhill from there. I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. So that's why when I see something like this, I find it extra impressive. Not only that they're wrestling, of course, but the timing that they have to be able to wrestle these kind of matches is on a different level.
We then get an attack from the Miracle Generation, and we get the save from Starstruck, which I think was great. I love on commentary they talk about how Starstruck weren't the better men in this night, but they were the better men than the Miracle Generation for coming back out and making the save for Bang and Matthews, for understanding that, yeah, we got beat, but we got beat fair and square. We got beat clean, and we need to help these guys to keep these guys ready for the next show. Again, spoiler alert, the new IWTV Tag Team Champions are indeed Bang and Matthews. They defeat the Miracle Generation on the Thursday show to win the titles and become the new champions for the IWTV Tag Team. So nice to see Bang and Matthews with those. Hopefully we'll start seeing those on some of these Dreamwave shows that we cover in the future, because Lord knows Bang and Matthews aren't going anywhere. I do love the Channing Thomas, the difference between the Channing Thomas, world-class Channing Thomas with Sydney Bacabella and on loan from the Dallas wrestling district, to the Channing Thomas that we get as part of Starstruck. There's a vibe and a feel. And again, I'm not normally one of those people, but I'm going to give me 1 second. I need to do something. I need to try to find something.
1 second. It already expired.
Yeah. Give me hold on. Like, I got the opportunity to meet Channing Thomas, and I'm like, oh, he's going to be the Channing Thomas that we see, like that world-class Channing Thomas. He was so cool and so interesting and just like really personable and down to earth. And it's just, it wasn't who I thought I was going to get when I went to go meet. And I specifically went to meet him because I've met AG before, and I love AG, and AG's great. But I've been watching AG for damn near a decade now. Like, I've been watching AG since Cody Rhodes was in Ring of Honor. I've been watching AG since I've been going to Ring of Honor shows in Lowell, Massachusetts. Like, I've been watching AG for a while. Channing Thomas is such a cool dude, and I really like the vibe he gives, and I love how he's not. But then again, I could talk about half this roster on this show and be like, how these people are unsigned talent, not signed to any television wrestling product, is fucking ridiculous. Whether it be, Bang and Matthews, Starstruck, Anthony Greene, and Channing Thomas both. Whether it be people like Laynie Luck, because I don't consider WWE ID talent as signed to a promotion because they're WWE ID. They're free agents to exceptions. Like, half this roster, I'm like, how are you not signed to a wrestling product right now? How are you not signed to a television wrestling show? We then get to my favorite match of the night. A guy who I didn't know a lot about going in, and a guy who I still don't know a lot about coming out of it. But I know that this kid is fucking unreal. I know this kid is worth his salt, and he had my favorite match of the night, working with one of my favorite people, Donovan Dijak. Dijak versus Blackjack. The night before he takes on the Wrestling Open champion Bobby Orlando, he has a match with Donovan Dijak to prove he's worthy of being done. To put in perspective, Blackjack won 3 tournaments in the 2025 calendar year for Beyond Wrestling to get this opportunity. He's had an amazing year for them in their operations with Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open. This kid's less than 11 months in the business. Drew said on commentary at one point, it took longer for him to get gear than it took for him to be ready to wrestle a match. That's how quickly he took to the business. That he was ready to work matches before he actually had gear. Now, I don't know about training to be a professional wrestler. I know none of that. I do know that Bobby's in the chat, and Bobby knows about wrestlers, and how hard it is to train to be a pro wrestler. I don't know how long you're supposed to be able to train, but in under a year, I didn't know you were supposed to be at the level where you could be taking on world champions like MLW Tag Team Champion Donovan Dijak, one half of the skyscrapers of MLW, teaming with one of our favorite professional wrestlers, Bishop Dyer. This match is fantastic. Like, Dijak, he doesn't hold back on this kid at all. He goes hard on this kid. He puts him through his paces. I thought there were a couple of times the referee was going to disqualify Dijak in this match because he did not give a shit about what the referee was telling him to do. But Dijak got the win. I was surprised. I figured Blackjack is getting that title opportunity the next night. He's going to somehow, some way, under all the odds, he's going to defy the odds and get the win over the big, nasty, big guy. Nope. Not going to happen. Dijak hit a fucking moonsault for the win on top of the Feast Your Eyes. Like, he did everything to this poor little bastard. And at the end of the match, he grabs the microphone and he says, tomorrow night, this kid challenges Bobby Orlando. And if he wrestles Bobby Orlando like he just wrestled me, he could be the next Wrestling Open champion. He's that good. That's big praise coming from a guy who's wrestled everybody. Like, Dijak isn't this guy who's not wrestled people. Like, he's wrestled for a long time. He's wrestled big stars. He's wrestled in big promotions. So to get that kind of a thing from Dijak, to get that kind of an acknowledgement moment from Dijak, sensational for this kid. I love this match. Five CPA shirts for me right here. 5 CPA shirts for me. Sensational match. Love it to death. Ashley, what you got?
Yeah, I love how this was the kind of match that just like, I'm going to make you earn your stripes. And this is basically the way to like sell you the match will be the tagline, if anything. And that's what Dijak did pretty much. It's like you want to be in this business? I'm gonna show you how the business goes. And he did everything to him. Like what didn't he do to this kid at this point? He did everything in this match, and it's like I still expected Dijak to win at the end. Just again, it's like he's the veteran. I know, like I understand the thing about the title shot, but at the same time, it's like, when you have somebody like Dijak, who's usually very dominant, I wouldn't have him lose. Not only to somebody that's that much younger, but I'm a little bit smaller than Dijak as well. That makes sense. So it's not surprising.
A little bit.
I mean, more than a little bit.
He's the difference between you and me.
No, it'll be me and Bobby. Bobby's taller than you.
Whatever. It's a more than a little bit of a difference here.
More than a little bit.
5 feet of fury.
But no, I like the fact that it was one of those. It was a fun match, but a different kind of fun compared to the tag team matches, for example, is how I can describe it. But I like that Dijak is just really having fun on the indies, and you can see it in this match, and that's what I love the most about it.
And you've got a special, unique piece of memorabilia from Dijak.
I forgot where I put it. No, I forgot where I put it now. So I was cleaning up. No, I can't find it. I didn't get ready for this one.
That's fine. I didn't tell you.
Hold on.
Do you have it?
Maybe when you keep talking, I'll see.
All right. No, I got Astrid a Christmas present. It arrived late. But Donovan Dijak does a lot of Whatnot streams now. Every Monday night, 10 p.m., he does Whatnot streams, and these are fantastic. And if you want to talk to Dijak and get questions answered and things like that, he's a very personable individual. He has a lot of fun on these streams. He does a lot of chit-chatting. He answers a lot of questions, and he sells some merchandise. But he did an 8x10 that I happened to get because the two people on this 8x10 are two people that I think Astrid has had a lot of fun covering over the years, because we enjoyed talking about Dijak on NXT shows. So Astrid, why don't you go ahead and show off your Christmas gift for the people?
Well, I'll show my first one that is not my Christmas gift, but it kind of is. There you go.
Yes, you got Mr. Santana.
Yay! From the only night he was champion. Boo. Yes. And then this one, making sure that you can see it at the frame. Okay. And then to read it off to everybody, Astrid, keep on OLED in line in 2026. Dijak, I can't keep that promise though. That's the only thing.
Yes. I personally asked Dijak because I thought Astrid would get a kick out of it to tell her to keep me in line in 2026.
I'm like, I do all the time. I try to, at least. Not easy.
I didn't say anything about dissing 5 Feet of Fury. I just said that the fact that she thinks that Dijak and Blackjack are slightly different heights is a bit of an understatement, to say the least.
Hey.
All right. We move on to a match. This is Dan Barry's retirement match. So Dan Barry was given the opportunity to have his retirement match, to kind of basically pick his match. And he handpicked 7 individuals to join him in the ring for his retirement match. It's an 8-person tag. And the 2 people that were announced before the show in this match were Dan Barry and 3 partners of his choosing, taking on Vinny Scalice, otherwise known as VSK. We've talked about him on a couple of shows before. And 3 partners of his choosing. They were really partners of Dan Barry's choosing, but so those partners were, in no particular order, Andy Brown, Bobby Orlando, and CPA on Dan Barry's side, on the babyface side. And on the heel side, Nick Robles, Rex Lawless, and the returning Bryce Donovan, who hasn't been in Beyond Wrestling since we last talked about Beyond Wrestling at America Rana, where he lost the title to Bobby Orlando. I will say this. Everybody had fun in this match. CPA had fun. Bobby Orlando had fun. Andy Brown is one of the more fun individuals that I've never had the opportunity to really watch. Thick Daddy Andy Brown is now on my list of people I need to keep an eye on. I believe at one point he was linked to Alyssa Marino, right? Yes? No? I thought there were a couple at one point. You're still muted.
So. I forgot that was him, but yes.
That's the same Andy Brown, right? This is.
I believe so. Let me. Well, you keep.
You're double checking for me, right? Yeah. I thought he was great. Like, he reminds me of like a fun Rikishi. He's having a ball. He's really talented. He does like that whole. He doesn't do the Rikishi gimmick, but he does a gimmick that seems a lot like Rikishi. I really enjoy his work. I love Bryce Donovan. I think he's a star. WWE ID missed the mark by letting him go, not getting him to sign, not making him a bigger star in the Vanity Project. I really like Nick Robles and Rex Lawless. I think these are really fun individuals. I like the Jersey Rocker Nick Robles character that they've got going on with him. I love him having a big, huge heater like Rex Lawless. He's not special, but he's another version of a Wardlow. He's another version of a Powerhouse Hobbs. He's another version of big, huge, beefy heater dude that I absolutely adore watching work. And you've got the douchiest of douches in Mark Sterling in this too. You know, wrestling lawyers are some of the best characters in the business. Okay, they are linked or were linked together. I wasn't sure. I was pretty sure that she'd mentioned before that she was dating Andy Brown.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember the name, but it never connected to me that it was him too. I never connected the dots, but yeah.
Yeah. But again, in this match, everybody had fun. You keep using Mel's thing of glorious chaos. This was chaos. I don't know if it was glorious, but it was indeed chaos.
I was gonna say glorious chaos, but not in a good way. That's how I was gonna describe it.
That's what I was gonna say. It was chaos, but I don't necessarily know if it was like it's fine. Like, no, this match wasn't taken seriously. This is the throwaway. Mm-hmm. Dan Barry's having his last match. Let's just go out there and have fun, boys. It was fine. It did all the things it needed to do. The moves in it were good. The moves in it were nice. Dan Barry trying to do the dive on the outside and everybody stopping him to do the dive instead was fun and unique. I thought that was really cute. The ref finally getting rid of Mark Sterling after he interfered for like the 15th time was really fun and interesting. Dan getting the win made a lot of sense because it was his last match. I thought he'd lose because in the wrestling business, you typically go out on your back. But, you know, sometimes it's worth just going out with a win. Dan Barry gets his win. He gets his moment. He cuts a fun promo after the match. It's nothing great. The audio was a bit wonky on that. There was a lot of reverb, so it was really hard to understand. But it's the end of a good career for Dan Barry. He's not somebody. The one thing I will say about this, the most impressive thing I will say about this is the introductions of everybody. And they were announcing like this person's a champion of this person's a champion of that. And then they ran down Dan Barry's entire fucking lineage of championships. For a man who's been in the business for 20 years, that took God near 10 minutes.
I'll be honest. There's two things about this match. So I skipped all the entrances because I really wanted to finish and just watch the match itself. So anything announced, I skipped all of that. But this is one of the few moments I'll let you make fun of me, okay? So when I was doing my notes, I saw the name Vinny, and I'm like, who the heck is Vinny? And I had to look him up, and I realized, oh, and they could have just put VSK because that's what I'm used to seeing. I thought it was a different person.
He's changed characters. He's no longer VSK. He's now just Vinny Scalice.
I'm not used to that. So when I saw that name, I went, who the heck is this? I had to look up the graphic, and that's when I realized, oh, same person I already knew, but different.
And we like, by the way, we like VSK. We think VSK
I like him a lot, but I just like, I it confused me for a moment when I saw the different name. At one point, I went, who the heck is it? Like, I have no idea. Then I'm like, when they're doing the entrances, I'm like, okay, this one's this one, this one's that one. Like you said, for example, when I was looking at the names, I was like, okay, Andy Brown, I hadn't seen him wrestle. So I was like, okay, that one's Andy Brown. I like to point out the people in my mind before I make my notes. And then I went, okay, I know Bryce. I know I seen Nick Robles at least once or twice before, so I'm familiar with him. I know who Rex is. And then I went, who the heck is Vinny? And I was waiting for that entrance. I could finally figure out who it was. And then I went, that's freaking VSK. What the heck?
Yep, Vinny Scalice is indeed VSK. Again, like, it's a fine match, but it's just just chaos. It's chaos for chaos.
It's a hot mess, okay?
It was indeed a hot mess.
I'm gonna give you a word, okay? Don't clip this. I'm letting you know right now. Don't clip.
1 hour, 20 minutes, Bobby.
No, I literally said don't. It's a clusterfuck, but not in a good way, okay?
Oh, it was absolutely a clusterfuck. It wasn't a good clusterfuck, guys. Like I said, it was chaos. I don't know if there's any glory in this chaos, but it was indeed chaos. And then we get to the main event. Okay. So for a very specific reason, I've not told you guys what the main event of the show is. And there's a reason for that. This is Bear Bronson with his first defense of his brand new IWTV Championship, taking on Krule. Yes, the same Krule who is Mads Kruger in MLW, the same Krule who reigned with this championship for over a year already once, and he's already been a 2-time champion with this title. Not only that, this was a fans bring the weapons match. Me and Astrid, if you've watched us at all, are not fans of deathmatch wrestling. I love me a good hardcore match, but I don't love deathmatch. This was essentially a deathmatch match. I'm sure by deathmatch standards, this is a good match. I'm fairly certain of it. You want to know how I know it? Because these are apparently two of the best guys to do that in the industry today. And they're two of the best professional wrestlers that I know. Krule is, for everything he does hardcore and deathmatchy and gimmicky, he's really good in the ring, being a character. He's really good at what he does. Bronson has had the best year of anybody I've seen in the independent wrestling scene. And he only had 6 months on the independent wrestling scene. Like, put this in perspective. He was in AEW for half a year, doing essentially nothing. And then he came back to the independent wrestling scene and became one of the biggest names on the independent wrestling scene. He's reinvented himself from being a funny guy to being an amazing professional wrestler and one of the best match people on the market today. I don't love deathmatch. I didn't love this match. This was hit each other with whatever we can find for the reason of hit each other with whatever we can find. There's a story to this match that basically doesn't ever get explained or used. That Krule put his hands on Gabby Forza, and that's why Bear wants to tear him apart. But because it's a death match, we don't get that. The other downfall to this match is commentary. Not because of Denver, Colorado, because he's the only good part of the commentary in this match, but because we have joined on commentary instead of our other announcer who worked really well throughout the night. We had fancy Ryan Clancy, who made the entire, what seemed like 40-minute main event all about him. It was great for a character point of view for Ryan Clancy on commentary, but it ruined the match. This is fine. And again, because it's a death match, I'm saying it's fine. I'm sure to deathmatch people, this is going to be a great match. I'm sure to deathmatch people, this could be one of the better ones. I'm not one of those guys who likes to see people go through, 5 doors in this match, using canes, rubber plastic chickens, an electrified baseball bat, a lamp, multiple chairs, a fireball, gasoline. Like, this wasn't for me. This was for a specific group of people. And by the way, I knew that going into this match, and I still wanted to watch this match because I wanted to see if these two guys could change my mind. Because all it takes is people that you like doing something you like to be able to change your mind on anything. It didn't do that. Not in the slightest. I'm still not a deathmatch wrestling fan. I still think these guys are fantastic professional wrestlers, but this wasn't a wrestling match. It was two guys beating each other up for far too long, with the crowd chanting "fuck you, Krule" the entire time. Gabby's the most interesting part of this wrestling match, and she didn't belong out there nor need to be out there. It's the only thing that I agree with Ryan Clancy on in this entire commentary section, is that it was pointless for her to be out there. Because with the exception of hitting Krule with the electrified baseball bat after the fireball, she doesn't actually do anything. Like, the match starts with Krule hitting her with a big boot that knocks her on her ass, and then Bear immediately puts him through a door. It's a shame, because like I said, I love these guys, but deathmatch wrestling isn't my thing. This might as well have been a death match. It's fine. I mean, we talked about the First Blood match at Dreamwave on our last show, and how much we liked that, and how it was unique and different because it utilized weaponry that made sense for the two people in it, and it made sense for the story. The spike, the chair, the stairs. It all made sense. It was used in interesting and different ways. This was hit guys with stuff because reasons. Sorry. I wish I could end the show on a high note, but I can't. I didn't love this. It was fine. And above all, the ending of the match is a bit convoluted because Krule wins. 9-day reign for Bear Bronson as the IWTV champion. I don't get it. Astrid?
I was afraid that you would enjoy it, and I'll be like, I want to be the Debbie Downer for once. No. For once in every few episodes. But I felt the same way. Just not only was the match felt like very slow on top of it, because of, I know Bear is a lot faster, but Krule's more like the slower kind of wrestler. So the pacing in itself, I'm like, I was already exhausted from the whole card, because obviously this was the main event. It was 30 minutes or so. And I already felt exhausted from the beginning of the card. And I waited until the next day so I can watch just this match alone, because I wanted to watch it with fresh eyes. And like you said, I was like, I'm not a deathmatch person. There could be some kind of hardcore matches I might enjoy, or some kind of like gimmicky matches that I might like. But one thing that I didn't like is that the weapons that we're using, they didn't feel like they left an impact. And that's not even... because I feel like most of the time you see them hitting each other with lights, for example, and you see the impact of that happening because the lights breaking. You can hear the sound, like stuff like that. And I feel like they had nothing here that I could have been like, oh, that was a cool like spot, even if I don't like the match in itself. Like hitting each other with a rubber chicken, like really? That's something that I was like, I was disappointed in that. And again, it's like like I said at the beginning of the show, I fantasy booked myself, and we did in that aspect, because I was hoping that Bear will win it, because Bear versus Gabby would have been such a great story. And then I see in the end that the ending felt, like you said, kind of odd, the timing, because Bear spears Krule, but then Krule ends up winning. It's like, how does that even happen? Like, that doesn't make sense when you think about the sequence that happens before that. And thinking about that, I was like, in my mind, the show ends with Bear winning, and then Bear versus Gabby is next. That was my thought process. I was like, and I feel like creatively that was such a unique story. It doesn't happen often. You get a husband versus wife for a championship, and it just didn't fit for me. It's like, and then like you said, it's like I thought about the fact of like, this is just a short reign for Bear after such a great win. How do you end it like this? I feel like they could have given him a little bit more, and I needed something more from this match, and I just couldn't get it. I couldn't find it within the match here. And I was upset at the end. I was like, oh, I feel like underwhelming for what the match was supposed to be. And it's like, Krule didn't do a lot in this match either way, if you look at it that way either. That's another thing that bothered me. It's like, for somebody that barely did anything in the match, for him to win at the end, it really bothered me at the end here. But yeah, overall, I feel like that definitely should have gone with Bear winning instead. I feel like it would have been such a better story, especially when you think about the beginning, how he was protecting Gabby from Krule to begin the match, and then he has to face her afterwards. Like, I think that would have been such a great sequence here. And it just like, I feel like after this, I lost interest in the story.
And again, like Mel puts, oh, bad commentary can really make or break a match. And it's not that the commentary is bad. Like, Ryan Clancy's good, but it almost felt like he went into business for himself. Like the whole commentary is all about Ryan Clancy being about Ryan Clancy. And it's weird because he's opposite the promoter of the company. So like it's a bit like he's like, oh, like at one point he's like, we should have a talk about, getting me a match and making and breaking matches. And it's just like, it just nothing felt right about it. And the whole match just felt odd. And again, deathmatch wrestling, it is what it is. I don't know. It's just weird. Yes, I agree. I love Fancy Ryan Clancy. He's absolutely sensational. I think he's one of the best. He was high on my list of independent wrestler of the year when I was making up a list. I know we didn't get to do the show, Mel, and I apologize for that. For like year in review stuff. But he was in my top 10 of male wrestlers of the year. Ryan Clancy, because I think he had some of the best matches that I saw throughout the year. Like I said earlier, that match with Marcus Mathers for the title is absolutely sensational. Yeah, this whole show it was so good. And then like bits and pieces of it just fall off a cliff. And it really sucks. By the way, I went and got match times for this card, and I want to do a little over-under with you, Astrid. All right. The opening match, Ryan Clancy versus Gabby Forza. Over, under 8 minutes.
Oh, my gosh. I feel like it's just a little bit over, but not much.
10 minutes, 1 second.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was between 10 and 15.
The Miracle Generation taking on Shot Through the Heart. Over, under 12 minutes.
Yeah, I would say more like 15.
14:54. Yeah. Angel Ortiz versus Cody Lane. Over, under 10 minutes.
That feels like an under.
14 minutes, 10 seconds.
I didn't feel like it, though.
Aaron Rourke and Marcus Mathers taking on the Shooter Boys. Over, under 20 minutes.
I would say over.
20 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Over, under 5 minutes for Liviyah versus Laynie Luck.
Just a little bit over. Maybe like 8.
9:12. 9 minutes and 12 seconds.
I've only missed
the most forgettable 9 minutes of my life. Yep. Bangin' Matthews versus Starstruck. Over, under 10 minutes.
I'll say over.
8:58.
Wow, even with the speed, it felt like longer than that.
The shortest match on the card at 8 minutes and 58 seconds. Just shorter than Liviyah versus Laynie Luck.
Well, I was about to say that was close.
Dijak versus Black Jack. Over, under 15 minutes.
Under.
14:15. The 8-man tag. Over, under a half an hour.
I was going to say it's close to half an hour. I would say over because I think it was more or less.
26 minutes and 28 seconds.
The main was more than 30, though. I know that much.
I was going to say over, under 30 minutes?
Over.
Over, under 35 minutes.
No, I'd say over, but it wasn't much.
30 minutes and 7 seconds. I cannot believe that 8-man tag is 26 minutes. Like I can totally believe it. And at the same time, why the fuck was that 20 minutes? I can't wait to cover Beyond Wrestling again. Like all that said and done, all the things we've said, positive, negative, and everything in between. I love this promotion. I love watching their stuff because they do something that nobody else does. And it feels like all of their big super shows feel like a big super show. They feel like a TV pay-per-view. They're done well, they're done right, and matches get tied. But at the end of the day, it's just a bit sad that this one was 5 fucking hours. By the way, we didn't cover 4 matches on this card because it was on the pre-show. There are 4 other matches we didn't cover. Actually, I wanted to get your opinion about one last thing before we head out of here. What are your thoughts about people being right up against the ring? Because this crowd is right there on the hard cam is pointed directly at fans that can touch the ring apron.
Yeah. I was going to say, there was moments that I forgot what entrance it was for. That I like that they were timing the stuff to the entrance, like they were hitting the mat to time. I think it was for Ortiz, if I remember correctly, for Smooth Operator. But aside from that, like especially when you're doing the main event or even like that semi-main, those kind of matches when they're so busy and there's so much around, I would try to find a way to keep a distance between the fans and what's going on in the ring as well. Especially for that weapons match, I feel like that was too close. But especially that semi-main event, like you said, when we had like Andy doing that kind of dive, they barely had any space for that dive to the point that they had to use that like little bit of the like almost like hallway aisle thing that they have to be able to do this. So I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's one thing that I was like, the spacing here for the dive, especially. It's another one that I just like, oh, that felt like a lot too. But yeah, overall the spacing was like, I would have, especially for the main event. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of stuff like this. I don't love. I first saw it in OTT. I know they do this a lot. I don't love it. I want the fans to have a barricade in front of them. Mind you, I'm a front row kind of guy. Like my girlfriend just got me tickets for Chaotic Wrestling in February, right before Valentine's Day. And the last time we went, she refused to let me get front row seats. Because this is my birthday / Valentine's Day gift, we're sitting front row. And she's petrified. And I couldn't imagine going to a show where you're not sitting, you're standing, and you're right against the apron. Like it feels like a dangerous thing for the crowd. It feels like a dangerous thing for the talent. Like it just feels overall like a weird thing. I love the visual of it, but it puts me off to think about it any more than just a cool visual. But yes, that is all we have for this week. Astrid, tell the good people what you've got coming up and if you've got anything interesting in the works.
I'm doing the chapters at the same time, so sorry if you hear my clicking. my keyboard here. For me, you can find me my Twitter as Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads is Astrid Pizarro 20. If you're here, you could be on my YouTube channel, so hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the like button too if you can. Again, it's like I wanted to like thank everybody for helping us get to YouTube partner. I didn't realize it because I was trying to think back when I was talking to Luis about how they were working towards this. I was like, we were working 3 years to get to this initial step. So we're really grateful that we're finally here. For me on Friday, there's a Wrestler of the Year project, mostly organized by Seahawk on Twitter, so Karen Hawkins. And I had the opportunity to write about Stephanie Vecchio about her year in wrestling in 2025. So that will be dropping on Friday. So you can watch our socials and you can purchase the project. And whatever comes out of the project goes back to not only us, anybody involved in the project as writers, but Lauren as the graphic designer for this as well. So this is the page that I did. Basically, my opinion, my written pieces here, but it's Lauren's artwork. So that's all there is to it.
And I do love the connection, Stephanie to Booker T.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's fantastic. I'm very excited for you on that one. So we will see what else you've got coming. Oh, there's more. I did not see that piece of artwork from Lauren Moran. So yes, very fun to see that. Very fun to see that whole project when it drops this Friday. And again, follow Seahawk at Seahawk Cameron Hawkins, and you can go ahead and find all of the information there on his Twitter as it drops on Friday. You can, of course, find me at all the usual places. You can find our local establishment, all the places that are already on the screen and have been at the bottom of the screen in our little overlay throughout the entire show. We don't have a show ready for you guys for next week yet because we had things planned, but then we moved this show back. So we kind of jumbled some stuff around. We will let you know within the next day or two what we're covering next. We're in the works with covering some interesting things going on at the end of the month and in the beginning of February. So keep your eyes peeled for that, as we hopefully have some more news about that as we go. But yeah, I have a couple of ideas of shows that we could do potentially if Ashford wants to do them, but we will have something ready for you next week. So yeah, we're very excited for that. Remember, Mania Week is coming. And by the way, for a month after WrestleMania and or more, get ready to watch WrestleMania shows that we're going to be covering, because we've already got about 5 Mania shows that we want to cover. And that's just the stuff that's announced now when we're in January. Most of those shows won't start having matches announced for another 2 months. So yeah, we really hope you like the Mania Week wrestling shows, because we're going to be covering them for all of the end of April, all of May, and probably into June at this rate. Thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.